A reaction to this news that Gordon Brown, David Cameron and Nick Clegg are going to take part in not one but 3 live TV debates in the run-up to the election. Is this the most exciting TV event since they found out that Psycho Stacey killed Archie? Or is this a licence to bore? Right Stuff at 5.tv is the address for your thoughts. The debates are going to be screened midweek in the run-up to the election, though not when the Champions League semi-finals are on, as TV bosses know that Cameron, Brown and Clegg aren't in the same league as a bunch of overpaid footballers when it comes to big audiences. Each 90-minute debate will be held in a different part of the country and hosted by a different broadcaster, ITV, BBC and Sky. Not 5, apparently. Audiences of around 200 people will be able to ask questions that have been chosen by a selection panel, but must remain on their best behaviour. No booing, no cheering or heckling allowed. Ahmadinejad, eat your heart out, mate. But what's the point, you know? Will these debates lead to more people voting, a surge of interest in politics? Because surely, if you do give a monkeys about what these people get up to, you can watch PMQs every Thursday on those rare weeks that Parliament's... Wednesdays, when Parliament's not actually in recess. Yasmin?
I think it's a good idea. I hate the way it's being managed.
No, that's the... yeah.
Yeah. It's, you know, why do you need a selection committee? Apparently it's going to decide who's going to attend and the kind of questions that are OK to... I mean, that's the Soviet style. It went out a few years ago. You know, those days, I always imagine what Gladstone stood up in front of a crowd of people and people could relate to him as a human being. Yeah. I think that the idea is very good. And I think, you know, some of the talents of these people may come out. But why do we need to manage it?
Hang on, Yasmin. I mean, they've had 5 years, the last 5 years, to get their arguments across, for us to decide who's a winner, who's a loser. Why do we need to condense 5 years of politics into 3 90-minute debates?
Because the biggest complaint, and I think this is part of the whole new culture of, you know, emailing and people feeling... We want to speak to the politicians. And actually, there are very few opportunities, except on question time, when punters turn up. And even that is quite well managed, though you never know what the question is going to be. I mean, you know...
They're saying the politicians won't know either. It's only the panel that chooses
you know, so
them,
I think it's a good idea. And maybe we'll suddenly find out that Gordon Brown is a real romantic hero. You know, that his soul will be exposed, and suddenly Nick Clegg will have a really good...
Piers Morgan did that with the proposals question.
Yes, but I don't understand what they're scared of.
OK. Terry, will you be glued to your armchair for this one, please?
I'd like to be chairing it, to push them, to stop them blanding on. That's what I'd like to do, because that's what they'll do, won't they? Say, well, of course, we're doing very well at the moment, and we're for, like, you know, full employment, world peace, and against burglary and murder. Yeah, it'd be it would just be that, you know, and trying to score points. But
they're very popular in America, of course, presidential debates, you know, when all the candidates go...
Yeah, but they say very little in them, you know. I mean, do they really, you know, if they start letting go at each other, that's great. Bit of audience participation.
You remember that woman who...
It is all very staged now.
Yeah, and that's the problem.
Many manipulators
the woman
behind
who
it.
pinned Margaret Thatcher with the Falklands question. No journalist
ever did that. But that was out on the street, wasn't it?
No, it was in a studio. It was in a studio. But you have to let people ask the questions, I think.
Oh, those, what is it, the mothers with Tony Blair that time?
Yes.
That was a story, yeah.
They give him a right going over. You wouldn't find that in Soviet Russia, would you, or somewhere?
I'm fascinated by what the 76 things could possibly be.
These are the 76 electoral rules that fall down on broadcasters.
After you don't boo, don't hiss.
Oh, but once the election is called, all the rules change for broadcasters. So, for example, once the election is called, if we had Ed Vaizey on, a Tory politician, we would have to represent the other major parties. We'd have to have Nick Clegg on, or an equivalent Lib Dem and an equivalent Labour person. So there's all these kind of things. You have to be fair and represent all the minority parties as well. And they're sensible rules, quite honestly. It's just interesting that the rules only apply to broadcasters, not to newspapers. So newspapers can run around saying things like, vote for Cameron, Brown, you know, is ruining the country, completely one-sided, pumping out their very, very biased partisan message. And on TV, you have to say, everybody's equal, everything's fair.
I think it'd be like X Factor, you know, we'll be hoping Gordon Brown mucks up or something, won't we? It's those moments that we want to see. We want to see the sweating, we want to see them panic and go wrong. And that's what we'll be watching for, because we are now...
Not the intelligent debate on the major issues of the day.
And it's supposed to be about policies, not personalities, although you were talking about Gladstone, weren't you? No, but half the people couldn't vote in them days, could they?
But that's a great point, Terry, because this is the politics of personality, isn't it? It's not about party politics, it's about which one of the guys seems more appealing.
Yeah. On the night.
But that's
On the night.
always been the case. The personality has always counted.
Yes, but there's always been party as well. I'm just thinking now, when you come to televised debates, you've literally thrown them away, shut them off. It's just personality, who we think does better in the room.
It's made up, made over personalities. So you never see the real person.
You see,
But I think in that situation, in a live situation, they can only be themselves. That's what the beauty of it is.
That's a very good point as well. Actually, I'm coming round to the idea now.